Salut, c'est Géraldine, ça va? It's Christmas soon and I know a lot of you would love to add some French to your Christmas presents list. And sometimes it's hard to know what's a cliché, what's a real gift you can offer to someone you love, or what to give to yourself for this new year. So I compiled a list of my favorite books for all levels, from complete beginners to very advanced, all in French, for you to really add something to your Christmas list about France and French. My first recommendation is this one, Un Océan d'Amour. I absolutely loved it. It's a friend who recommended it from at the library when we went together. And after that, I bought it because I loved it so much. It's for complete beginners. Why? Because it has no dialogue. And that's what's crazy about this book. It's a wonderful love story between a fisherman and a woman from Brittany, and they're both from Brittany. And something happens to him. I'm not going to say why, and they will happen to travel around the world together. Well, not separately, but to get back together. And it has such lovely images. I love it. I completely fell in love with it. The characters are beautiful, the story is nice. It's full of wonderful French references about Brittany. And you can see this lady. I hope you can see her. And she has the local traditional costume, and her husband is a small fisherman, and he's so cute, he's so awesome, and they will happen to travel to find each other again because something happens, but I'm not going to tell you why. So it's called Un Océan d'Amour. You can find it everywhere. I'm going to put the link on the video description on the blog communefrancaise.com. You can find it on Amazon in France. I hope you can find it abroad. If not, next time you're here, we can buy it in a bookshop. My second recommendation is for children and also for all the grown-ups because it's such a fantastic book. It's called Les Carnets Cerises. I found this one on Twitter via someone I like, and he was talking about this series because it's for children, but it's not a stupid story with a weird moral and trying to convince children of doing anything. It's really about a little girl who is trying to do, who is kind of a detective, and she's trying to solve a mystery. And she has her best friend with her, and they both try to solve the mystery. And what's good is that there are lots of text and there are lots of images, wonderful images. So you have all this, it's the little girl writing her story, and then you have the wonderful images, and it's super easy to read. I know that sometimes, especially for me, I read lots of comic books in French, and the writing sometimes it's hard to read because I struggle a bit, but this is super clear, and it's very easy to read. It's a very good story, and this little girl called Cerise, it's so cute. It's cherry in English. And I mean, I love it both because the story is great, the drawings are great, and also it's a children's book that really bring them to reading and imagining things, and I love it. So I highly recommend Les Carnets Cerises. It has several ones. This one is Le Zoo Pétrifié, and it's the tome 1, le tome 1. Okay, it's the first book. You can buy them, I think, separately. And I know my goddaughter loves them. And when I told her about them, she says, yes, but I've already read them. I know them, Geraldine. They're not new. So I was the only one discovering them. So that's Les Carnets Cerises. It's aimed at children, but as I say, just like the best children books, they're for everybody. So if you're a beginner and you want to read that, that's absolutely perfect. And if you're advanced as well, that's Les Carnets de Cerises. The third one that's also aimed kind of for children, because there was a movie made, an animated movie made recently, is Le Grand Méchant Renard. It's a great book, and it's aimed at children, but adults love it. I have to say that because I gifted it to the friend who made me discover Un Océan d'Amour, because we both loved the trailer for the movie, and we heard that the the book was so good, and it's actually really good. So it's about un renard, a fox, who is not a really bad fox, and he happens to steal eggs from a chicken, and the eggs end up being chicks, and they have 3, and he has to take care of them. He's supposed to eat them, but because he's not such a bad fox, he doesn't really want to do it. So it's called Le Grand Méchant Renard, just like Le Grand Méchant Loup, the big bad wolf, but it's obviously a joke because you can see it on the cover. The chicks are making fun of him and playing with him, and he really doesn't look like a bad fox. So inside, it's about, again, you have lots of beautiful drawings and you have a little bit of text. The text is not too much, so it's easy to understand what they're saying just by the text and the image. Because sometimes I know that from certain other comic books, you have lots of text and it's harder to understand. So that's why I wanted to offer it for intermediate students, because you can understand, it's pretty easy, the references are not too difficult, and the way that the animals speak is pretty elegant, so you will understand it. There's not too many weird French popular culture references. Oh, I love it. I think I'm going to read it again after this episode. My 4th recommendation is something that just got out this year in English. It's called L'Arabe du Futur. I own le tome 2 et 1, like that, probably. And I don't own the 3rd because I liked it less. I borrowed it from a friend, I liked it less. But 1 and 2 are absolutely awesome. So I'm going to take the first one to show you. So the author is Riyad Sattouf. He's a famous comic book writer. He's really good, and what I loved from this one is about when he was a child in Middle East, and he talks about why his parents thought it was a good idea moving there. His mom is from Brittany, I think, or Normandy, and his dad is from there. So they move back, and he has high hopes into the regime, and he discovers what it is to be binational because he goes on holidays with his grandmother in France, and he lives there, and he discovers his other grandmother, his aunt, and his uncles, and it's absolutely awesome. It's very fun, but it's also very sad, and it has lots of political references, so you can see a bit here, a bit of the book, and it's super simple stories about a young child in a foreign culture, and he tries to learn how it goes. And the fun thing is that he's a blonde guy, and it's absolutely unseen there, and everybody wants to touch his hair and thinks he's super cute. That's L'Arabe du Futur. If you happen to not speak French at all or not well enough, you can read it in English as well. I just gifted it to a friend, and I think it's going to be very popular abroad as well because of the quality of the story. So that's L'Arabe du Futur. It looks like this. That's for first book, and the second book is there, and it's even more interesting considering the politics at the moment. So that's more for advanced students or comfortable intermediate. If you're a beginner, you can read it as well. Again, just take your time and go through one page after the other, but it's just a bit more difficult because it has lots of popular culture references. If you're into politics, read this one because you will love it. My last recommendation is a book called Zai Zai Zai. Hope you can see it. I absolutely love this book. It was a recommendation from my friend who recommended me Un Océan d'Amour. She's my expert in comic books, especially French ones. And this is for advanced students because it has a lot of humor in there, and you really have to understand it to enjoy it. If you don't, you will think it's just a stupid book. It has no meaning at all. What's great about this one is by Fab Caro, he wrote a few other things, is that each page is a story in itself, because it's kind of a a joke in each page coming from the first joke. So what happens at the beginning is, let me check here. So it's the first 3 pages, I think. Yeah, that's the first 3 pages. Like, it's all this. If you understand this, you kind of get it. It's about a man who goes to the supermarket, and when he has to pay, he doesn't have this card where you can get points. The more you buy, the more points you get. And we call this une carte de fidélité in French. And he happens not to have it, and it seems to be a big deal, so he just runs away. So no one would run away because you don't have this card. It's no big deal. You just say you don't have it, so you don't get the points, and that's it. And that's the start of the story. So he runs away from everything because he doesn't have the card. And on each page you have a joke, a little story about this that doesn't. It's absolutely surreal. It doesn't make much sense, but each one is a joke in itself, and it's very fun. And if you take them one after the other, you get the whole story. But each page, it doesn't make any sense, but it's extremely fun because it's unexpected and it's full of French culture references. So that's why it's really for advanced students, or I'm not going to say almost bilingual, but you have to be really fluent or be ready to ask a French person to explain it. So I should even do a full episode explaining each page. I'm not going to do that now. And if you have a French friend you want who really likes culture in general and comic books, who doesn't know Zai Zai Zai, just give it to him, because he or she will love it. I loved it. It was I think one of the best discoveries of this year in terms of writing. Un Océan d'Amour was my favorite because it was very cute, but this one was my favorite because of the text. It's so fun and it's so well written. So Zai 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 is, I highly recommend it. Very, very good. I hope you can find it abroad. If you can't, hopefully next time you're in France. I don't think there's a translation for this one because the French would be very, very, very hard to translate. So that's it for today. I hope you liked it. I really wanted to do something special before Christmas, something super simple in the studio for you. Picked a few books. You will find the links below the video on the blog comeunefrancaise.com. Before we finish this video, I wanted to ask you if you could tell me what you would love to get for Christmas and in French. The comments are a fantastic way for you to practice your French every week. So that's it for today. I'll see you next week and happy Christmas. Salut! One last thing, especially for Christmas and the end of this year, you can offer one of our courses to your friend on top of a book or instead of a book, so they can learn French culture and French language and understand everything better. It's super easy to get a gift card for your friend. Just buy a gift card and your friend will be able to choose which course they want to join. If you need any help, just ask, and you will find all the information on the link below this video on the blog. That's a super unique opportunity, and we made this especially for you for Christmas this year.